Welcome to the International Investment 2021 UK Spotlight. With me today, I've got Aslam, Shareef, who's Head of Funds at Fairway Group. We have Neil Jones, who is Head of Technical at Canada Life International. We also have Simon Pickering, who's Head of Insurance and Pensions at the Department for Enterprise at the Isle of Man Government. Welcome everybody, and thank you for being here today. I'm going to start with the questions, and I'm going to start with, if it's okay with you, Neil, I'm going to start with your good self. We're going to look at the UK cross-border advice world. What is it about Canada Life International products and investments that's relevant to this marketplace, and why are they relevant? Why is this a big market for Canada Life and Canada Life International?
Yeah, we've seen more and more people over recent years start to consider offshore and start to use offshore products. So what we've tried to do is design solutions that meet those demands and can adapt to the changing objectives of investors. So we try and allow as much as we can people to invest how they want. And we've seen certainly around the world interest rates fall, so people are seeking better returns. They're seeking more comprehensive investment solutions, which you can't necessarily get onshore. So that just allows people to invest money in the way they want to, whether it's using, going directly into funds or using platforms or using discretionary managers. So it's important to offer that range of solutions, and also choice of jurisdictions. So obviously we operate out of the Isle of Man as well as Ireland and the UK.
Good answer. So, Aslam, I'll bring you back in here. Just tell me what it is that Fairway brings to the table. Why is the UK cross-border marketplace important, and what do you bring to the table?
Yes, definitely. I think this market is really important for us because we see an increased interest from all promoters, wherein they need the exposure in the UK real estate market, but they need an offshore jurisdiction to go through. And tax opportunities definitely kind of attract and cater to this market, coupled up with the exposure to the offshore jurisdiction and the industry expertise we have developed within Jersey for all these years. I think that puts us in a very strong position to have that offering. Fairway, where it comes in, is because of their last 20 years of existence, they've developed a niche book, and that exposure to this UK real estate market and other products, which will have tax implications, such as, when you sell off the assets in the funds, you will have the capital gains tax and so on and so forth. So all these comes together, and this market becomes all the more important for us.
That's a good answer. In both of the answers that we've just had, the term jurisdiction came up, and I'll ask you, Simon, and ask you to take your mute off in answering this question. When we look at the UK cross-border advice world, there's two parts I'm going to ask you, Simon. Why is the Isle of Man, why has it been traditionally important within this marketplace? And, what makes the Isle of Man the jurisdiction of choice? Let's look at that.
Okay, well, the Isle of Man as a jurisdiction has consistently provided industry commitment for nearly 50 years now. And traditionally, we're known for offering unit-linked bonds and regular savings plans with a focus on the UK offshore high net worth side, and into international markets also for high net worths, expatriates and the local based affluence. But it's the island's cross-border network of branches and subsidiary offices around the globe, which I feel is very important to advisors. Having the ability to speak to company representatives over the years, be they based in the Far East, LATAM, UK or Middle East, it adds lots of value to the advisory world. Why are we a jurisdiction of choice for the future? Well, I think there's a number of reasons in my view. Being a long-established domicile with strong political stability, and having a buoyant, diversified economy, I think, is an important factor for advisors. You know, we're here for the long term. We're not a fly-by-night jurisdiction when it comes to wealth management. And furthermore, in these uncertain times, having a robust, renowned regulator and a strong consumer protection scheme with our policy holders compensation scheme is vital. And lastly, it's important to have a wide choice of established providers and products within those providers going forward. So I think we're in a good position.
Thank you, Simon. That's a really good answer. If we just stay with the jurisdiction side of things, and I'll bring you back into this, Neil. I mean, Canada Life International is across 3 jurisdictions, as you pointed out. Just what is it about the Isle of Man that's so important to Canada Life International, and just tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, the Isle of Man is the base for Canada Life International, or as I say, although we've got a company that operates out of Ireland as well. But the Isle of Man is great because it's very well regulated. The government's very agile and very nimble when it comes to legislation and changes, that they can make the changes that are relevant to the particular areas that they want to. Whereas generally you would find that other nations, especially if they're part of the EU, may have legislation and changes that are trying to encompass the whole of the region rather than just specific to the one area. So the Isle of Man allows that very niche and relevant legislation to be passed, which is very, very good from an investor's point of view.
Good answer. Thank you, Neil. Now, the question is over to you, Aslam. How important is being in the right jurisdiction to a company when dealing with the UK cross-border advice industry? And tell me about, where you're based.
Definitely. I think being based in Jersey puts us in a very prime location. Now, if you look at what are the factors which any promoter will look at before choosing jurisdictions, you could start off saying investor preference could be one of them. The regulatory environment there and how flexible they are and how understanding they are for the promoter's requirement. And then obviously tax opportunities, technological advancement, the standing in the international community, all those factors add in. And I think not that this is a debate to compete with other crown dependencies. And I do echo the similar sort of plus points which colleagues on the panel have highlighted. But I think from a Jersey PLC perspective, the recent Moneyval visit, which put us in good stead, and with the agility of the local regulator, I think that gives us the flexibility we need with the ever-changing regulatory environment across the world. I think you need a regulator and the government's buy-in to kind of move with the market, so to say, or move with the regulatory framework. Jersey is very strong on that footing, no doubt. And the recent reports, the voting from the European Council declaring Jersey as a transparent and cooperative jurisdiction, is a testimony towards that. So yes, definitely, it puts Jersey in a very strong place.
Thank you very much. And I'll just round this up. I'll come back to you on this, Simon, if that's okay. Just, when advisors are choosing an offering, and, you touched on it before, around the world, jurisdiction can be important. What should they be looking for? And just sort of finally, is there anything that the Isle of Man could be doing better going forward?
Yeah, I think where the Isle of Man is strong is obviously having this cluster of international life officers. We have 12 officers based here, so that gives advisors choice in terms of who they may want to deal with, and they may deal with one office for one product and a different office for another product. So I think that's quite important. Obviously, I echo everything else that everybody said in terms of having a progressive regulator that understands the needs of business is very important, and also having a government that works closely with industry, which is my role. Is there anything else we could be doing better? Absolutely. We understand that we can't just rest on our laurels. Even more so now, brokers, advisors, IFAs, and the underlying clients expect prompt onboarding of new business, as well as ongoing digitalized service and administration. So this is why we have started a major project around InsurTech. So joining our traditional long-standing sectors with new technology, we're looking to enhance our service levels in the future. InsurTech is a really fast-growing market, and if you think of the use of artificial intelligence and blockchain technology as just two examples of hopefully how we can turn the Isle of Man into a InsurTech ecosystem of excellence to make us fit and ready for the future.
Thank you, Simon. That was great. What kind of impact has the pandemic had on your business and how you do business? I'm going to ask this question to Neil. How's the pandemic changed how you do business, and how's it changed how you'll do business in the future? Hopefully, when we come out of it, are the things that you'll keep doing that you've been doing during the pandemic? And that's to Neil Jones.
Yeah, I think the pandemic has sort of driven the changes, or the technological changes. We were very quick to be able to adapt, which is one of the nice things about Canada Life. We were quick to adapt for people working from home, and then have the technology in place. So whether you do Zoom meetings or MS Teams, that sort of thing. And that's become very popular, and people have made good use of that. And it will be interesting to see how much that carries on when the pandemic hopefully is, or the rules are relaxed. I wouldn't say it's over, but it'll be interesting to see how that works, because it does save time. The issue with clients nowadays, especially going into places like the City of London, if they're working from home, they're not going to go in and see their advisors. So they'll be doing more and more calls over Teams. But I still don't think you can beat face-to-face. But I think we'll see technology, the technology that's been developed and been used, sticking around for a bit. But from a company point of view, we want to try. We have an ethos, and we want to try and be easy to do business with. So wherever we can, we've tried to make changes. Where we'll accept scanned paperwork or electronic signatures and so on, just to try and make it easier for people to transact and to invest their money and do the right thing, because there's nothing like a pandemic to sort of focus people's minds on their finances as well. So you've seen a slight change in focus from clients and advisors.
Thanks, Neil. Now, just talking with Aslam. Aslam, I believe you joined Fairway Group in the middle of the pandemic. Number one, what was that like? And number two, the same question. How has that challenge been taken by the Fairway Group, and what do you see the company carrying on into the future once, hopefully, the pandemic is lifted?
Yeah. I think it was really difficult, no doubt, because joining in the middle of pandemic, where in the previous year or so, you had physical interaction, and you got around, and the first couple of days you just were introduced to the names and stuff like that. But we got very lucky, because I joined in October, November, wherein Jersey was slightly opening up. So I got a week in the office before we went back into lockdown.
If I had joined in March, probably it would have been a lot more difficult. But by October, November, we were all okay with the Zoom technology and whatnot. So keeping in touch with the team got a lot easier. Nevertheless, it was difficult. And I think coming back in the office in the start of the year was very refreshing. Now, going back to the second part of your question of how has the pandemic affected Jersey and Fairway and what we are doing. No doubt, pandemic has affected a lot of us, every one of us, I guess. I think what it has done is it's dropped the penny with everyone. It has opened up the borders, wherein previously, you had this, you can only employ so many people from somewhere, but now the penny has dropped. Anyone can work from anywhere. So it has opened the doors for outsourcing, which will definitely kind of present a challenge for jurisdictions like ours, wherein how we play the outsourcing part of it, and what are the rules we put around those. In terms of Fairway and how we are getting up to deal with the post-pandemic situation, I guess the focus on technology has never been greater, I would say. Not only the work from home, but the automation of process, the AI coming into play, and increased amount of kind of activities going on, and the expectations from the promoters and the investment managers to have done things cost-effective basis and efficiently, I think it's increased. So definitely we are enhancing our capabilities on that front, and hopefully we will it will put us in good stead going forward.
That's a great answer. It's I mentioned Island Life, and Simon, when you look at the way the Isle of Man has coped with the pandemic, just tell us a little bit about what that's been like, and just tell me how that what will be kept from the how you coped with the pandemic, what will be kept into the future.
Yeah, well, the obvious immediate challenge, I suppose, 14 months ago was moving nearly 2,000 life sector staff to working from home within a very short space of time. And I'm pleased to say that it did happen, as Neil said, smoothly and seamlessly, without any adverse effect to service levels or the ability to onboard new business. We were very fortunate last year in that we were able to be back in the office towards the end of June. We've since had two quite short circuit breakers in January and then again in March. So it's become second nature now to sort of flick the switch and send a couple of thousand people to work from home. Some life office staff continue to work from home. Some are on flexible work patterns, and I see this becoming the norm in the future. Again, without any effect on service levels at all. As Neil referred to, some life office plans to move to digital customer due diligence were sort of brought forward, and I definitely see this continuing post-COVID, and in fact those digitalization methods will obviously be enhanced. Not being able to travel for 14 months has meant the use of technology has become vital to keep in touch with advisors around the world. And I feel an element of this will continue going forward. Will it be as much business travel as there has been historically? I don't think there will be. That said, you definitely can't beat face-to-face relationship building, especially if it's new people. So I'm very much looking forward to traveling again. It is a big part of my role, and I know some of the senior life sector, members of staff here are looking forward to the 28th of June, which is the next sort of flag day for the Isle of Man, when hopefully we open up the borders without any restrictions at all.
Thank you, Simon. And I'm going to ask a question now around Brexit. Okay, it's who would have thought? Brexit kind of it just got pushed to the side, and it's almost not even whispered about these days. Yet in our industry, there are some impacts there. I mean, how will I'm going to ask this to Neil first. How will Brexit impact the UK cross-border marketplace? And what's Canada Life International done, if anything, to deal with these potential changes in a post-Brexit world?
Yeah, I mean, choice of jurisdiction when you look at Brexit, obviously the Isle of Man's not part of the EU, so the relationship between the UK and the Isle of Man didn't change. So we then look at Ireland. We have a business out in Ireland, and we can still transact business cross-border. There are no issues there, so it's just very much business as usual. The downside was the lack or the loss, of the FSCS protection for investors, and that just means that people then need to focus a bit more on financial strength and stability, and that's something that we're very, very comfortable with. We have very high levels of solvency, so as a company, we're very comfortable with that. And there was a big thing around education where we just needed to explain to people, look, this is what has changed. This is the FSCS, but this is what it means. And this is what you now need to look at. And as a company, as I say, we're very comfortable. It's business as normal for us. So just explaining to advisors and to potential clients and existing policyholders what the impact of Brexit was very important. But it's just business as normal. And as I say, as far as financial strength and stability goes, we're okay. We're very, very strong in that area. And I think advisors then need to look at providers if they do go to an EU destination and have a look and just make sure that they're comfortable with the providers that they've chosen and they're using.
Thank you, Neil. Aslam, do you think that this situation with Brexit has kind of played into the likes? It's an advantage for the likes of the Isle of Man and for Jersey indeed. How have you seen this impact, and do you think it's an advantage for yourselves?
It is a bit of both, I would say. I think we always have indirect impact on anything because of our relationship with the UK. So to start with, we were not part of EU, but we did have heavy reliance on the UK. So our relationship with UK gets slightly impacted due to UK leaving the EU. Now, we do have direct relationships with our other EU counterparts or the governments there. But with the Jersey's national private placement regime, especially in fund space, we are equipped to kind of address that challenge which came post-Brexit. And like I alluded to earlier, European Council acknowledging Jersey as a very cooperative and transparent jurisdiction kind of gives us that edge. Nevertheless, there will be impact. And I think the final impact of it is yet to be seen. But would that play into our hands? I think yes, definitely. What we have done at Fairway to counter that, we have updated our GDPR policies, procedures, and got the automations in place. And wherever we knew there were gaps due to the Brexit and our offering, we have adjusted that so that the promoter who's walking through the door knows what impact pre and post Brexit they have in our offering.
Thanks, Aslam. And just rounding that off, it's something that Simon, from your perspective, has there been any impact, with Brexit, or is it very much just business as usual for the Isle of Man?
The most important point to note first, Gary, is the fact that the Isle of Man's ability to access the UK market for long-term insurance business has been unaffected, and the island's long-standing relationship with the UK, and they are our biggest trading partner, has continued. So from an Isle of Man perspective, we've not seen any real negative impact of Brexit at all so far. In fact, the opposite is true, as UK business levels to the island increased by 14% during 2020. And we've had multiple reports from UK advisors telling us that they preferred to use the Isle of Man over the last 18 months due to Brexit uncertainty. Furthermore, which is quite exciting, we're seeing some interest from EEA-based insurers at the moment who consider the Isle of Man as a potential jurisdiction for a branch and or a subsidiary model following the Brexit transition period, and making such a move would allow them to continue to service and write new business into the UK. So watch this space.
Looking at 2021 and going into 2022, what's the biggest priority? I'm putting you on the spot here. How do you see things going for the Isle of Man?
I think we're in a good position. The government has had an unprecedented pandemic to deal with. I think they've coped extremely well. They've gone down a process of elimination, and the vaccination program is going brilliantly. In fact, I get my second one tomorrow, and obviously I'm quite young, Gary. So yeah, I think we're in a good, strong position. Obviously, opening up the borders at the end of June will increase everybody's appetite to get out there again, be it from a life sector perspective, or our fiduciaries, our professional advisors. And I think going forward, we had a finance agency board workshop yesterday, and I think going forward, the pandemic will give us the opportunity perhaps to collaborate a bit more with our closer jurisdictions, be it in the Channel Islands, but also like to Scotland and Ireland. So yeah, collaboration I think is my key word going forward. Thanks,
Simon. Aslam, key words going forward, and just a quick sentence. What do you see as the key things for the rest of this year and into 2022 for Fairway Group?
Fairway Group, I think two parts. First is striking the happy medium with employees from home and a mixture of working from office and so on and so forth, getting that. I think the echo is back on, so whoever is not.
Yeah, I just need to unmute.
Yeah, perfect. So two parts to it. First is striking the happy medium with the employees working from home and from office, and then the travel needs and so on and so forth. Second one is a focus on technology going forward. That will be key coming out of the pandemic, because the penny has dropped that the world is moving towards the likes of Teslas and the Bitcoins and whatnot. So you'll have to keep up and kind of equip yourselves to understand that, and not only understand that, but embed that in your business so that you can provide those services. And lastly, the regulatory side of things, wherein yes, the pandemic did impact businesses, but the regulation is not going away. So still being on your toes with the approach of agility within the regulatory space is very important. So those three key things will be the focus coming out of the pandemic.
And lastly, but not leastly, Neil Jones, what do you see as the key points for Canada Life International into the end of 2021 and into 2022?
Yeah, I think from a market point of view, it's just consolidating after the turbulence of, as I say, the pandemic and Brexit, which we had over the last 12 months. And then what we need to do, or what businesses need to do, is to make sure that they remain relevant and they can adapt to the changing lifestyles. We've seen advisors and potentially clients now dealing or working differently and working remotely. That undoubtedly is going to continue to some extent. So we need to be able to adapt and to make sure that we remain, our service remains relevant to the new lifestyle in which people work. So it's to focus on the advice market. That's still going to be important going forward, and we still need to make sure that we can deal with advisors in the way that they want us to deal with them, whether that be face to face, whether that be remote, or whether technology will develop even newer solutions.
Fantastic. Just remains for me to say thank you all once again for attending the UK Spotlight, and thank you to all of our viewers for tuning in. What I'd ask you to do is look out for the International Investment UK Spotlight 2021 e-zine. and some individual interviews with Neil and Aslam, and in particular, look out for the video from Simon Pickering. It's a fantastic video that's also part of the e-zine. Thanks for watching. I've been Gary Robinson. Goodbye.